Hi everybody, this is Sam with Python Basics, and in today's video we're going to be looking at the SQL keywords join and on. So, alright, if you're new here, thanks for joining us. This is what we do micro videos. So last time we were looking at the customer table. So let's just go ahead and remind ourselves what that table is. So here we are. This table has a list of all the different customers, and it has a customer ID, customer first name, customer last name, and customer zip. So now this is the beginnings of some information, but it is limited to only the identification of the customer and what their ID is. So now if we want to really start to look at transactions, let's look at the customer purchase table. All right. And as you'll see, there is a similarity. So we're going to look from customer purchases, and we're just going to go ahead and pull all of this in. So now this has 4,221 rows of records. So this is what the product was, what the vendor was, the day it happened. Oh, here we go. Customer ID, the quantity, the cost to the customer, and the transaction time. So now if we wanted to really kind of learn about the transactions from the customer, we could do that, but it's limited because we only have an ID for the customer. We don't know who this is. So we would need to then figure out a way or find a way to utilize and link these two tables. And luckily for us, there is a wonderful way to do this. But let me just show you one thing to just kind of, if you're like me and you're like, well, how are we going to do this? So let's just group by customer ID. And how do we know that it's going to link up, and how are we going to be able to tell this? Okay, very cool. So now I'm compressing, like our accordion file, I'm compressing all of my records, purchase records, on my customer ID. And as we look here, there are 26 records. So that means there's 26 IDs and there are 26 IDs. So, okay. So, all right, I feel a little bit better about that. So now let's actually learn how in the world to put these together. So, and the way that we're going to do this is we're going to use a keyword join and then another keyword that needs to accompany it on. So let's do select, and we need to do this with the customer purchases, and you'll see why. Now there's also, we're going to do left join, and I'll explain that. So the way that you do this is actually let's talk down here first. So I want to join I'm joining this table with, now I say the second table I want to join. So now I want this table and this table to join. And what did they have in common? The customer ID. So I want to join them on customer purchases, customer ID. I'll go over this in just a second. And then customer on customer ID. So now I have a half a mind to want to show you what would happen if well, actually you can practice this, but you're going to get an error of some ambiguity and things like that. So we have to distinguish that we want, because now you're pretty lucky here to have these have the same name in tables. You're not always going to have this, so you're going to have to be able to distinguish which table and which field and use the dot notation. And if you've played around with Python enough, you are very familiar with the dot notation. But so now I'm going to run this, and when I'm running this, so we talked about from here. So I'm saying from all of this. So basically these two tables merging on this, and I want you to return everything from these two tables. And the reason why I'm making a big deal about that is if you look really close here, customer ID and customer ID, I have two customer IDs. So now let's clean this up a little bit before we talk more about the join. So this is a lot to type, and I'm not a big fan of that. So now we can alias this so we can bring down our typing. So I have customer purchase. I've just aliased this as CP, and then I just aliased customer as C. Oops. So now I have less to type. So if I want to call any of these rows or fields, I don't have to type this entire thing out. CP is customer purchases table, and customer is now C table, just to help us. Now, I also now want to bring to your attention the left join. Whichever one we place first, that is going to go first. So we have the customer purchases, which is from here to here, if you recall. Started out with product ID, vendor, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then the last four are from our first table, customer ID, first name, last name, and zip. And here we are right here. So now the way that this works with the left join is I want you to join this table going to here. This isn't super important here, but this is many. This is our example of many to one and one to many. But the order in which you do this, we're just gonna focus on this being a left join, where we're gonna assign from the right to the left, joining to the left. So this table is first, and you join to the left. That's the way I want you to look at that. And we will be diving more into that, and there are reasons and techniques. And so you have full join, inner join, outer join, all of those things. So this is where it begins to get very complicated very, very quickly. But like everything we do here, we're going to go very, very slow. But next video, we are going to look at something. Here's a little bit of foreshadowing. So as I'm here, and if I were to count this and star, so I had 26 rows right here that came out. So if I run this and I go, okay, I just want to count the number of customer ID, and it was more than to scroll, and I didn't want to look here. So this isn't quite returning what we want, but I'm going to show you next video with another new keyword of how to accomplish this task in a different table with a field that has multiple recurring digits. Has multiple occurrences of a single object. So there we go, guys. A little bit of a longer video today, but please drop any comments, questions. Make sure you're jumping over on Discord if you have any questions, and someone there or myself will be happy to answer these. But you guys are doing a great job asking a lot of good questions, and still giving me great video ideas. And I actually had 2 come through today. I'm trying to figure out when and how I'm going to fit them in. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Hey, guys. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you really enjoyed today's video. And if you haven't, check out this video right here or this one right down here. And most important, make sure you're hitting this subscribe button and the notification bell. Thanks again for joining us, and we hope to see you next time. Bye, guys.